Recently, I took a cruise on the MSC Seashore. And before I go on any cruise ship, the question that always circles through my mind is this cruise ship going to be fluffy friendly? Well, now I have an answer. Here we go. MSC Seashore. Is it fat friendly? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your extra large host, Tony, here to walk you through a fluffy friendly review of the MSC Seashore. And fluffy friendly comes down to really some simple things. Can I sit in all the places that I need to sit? Do I have to wait in line a lot? Are there things that I normally can't do that I can do? And am I gonna have any challenges using the restroom? Let's kick this thing off looking at the seating, and we'll start with the food venues. Many times on many cruise ships, if you go to the main dining room, the seating there, the chairs are kind of formal. They'll often have arms that make it restrictive for a bigger person to just sit down. And fortunately, in most main dining rooms, there will be some alternative non-arm chairs that you can request, but the whole process can be a little embarrassing, can be a little tedious to go to the main dining room and say, I'd like a table, but I need, a special seating accommodation, and then that takes a little bit of time. Well, what I'm happy to report when it comes to the main dining room on the MSC Seashore is that all of the chairs have no arms, making the main dining room very fluffy friendly. Interestingly, many fluffy cruisers avoid the main dining room because of that chair situation, and they'll make their way to the buffet. And sometimes they're, sad to find out that the buffet also has restrictive seating. Well, not on the MSC Seashore. Lots of fluffy, friendly seating in the buffet. And then one more foodery on cruise ships, the specialty dining restaurants. A lot of times they follow suit with the main dining room, and they'll have these formal chairs with arms. Well, again, not on the MSC Seashore. Their specialty dining restaurants, armless chairs. We went to the sushi restaurant, very good seating there. I peeked in another specialty restaurant, very good seating there. The eateries on the MSC Seashore, very fluffy friendly. Another seating point of contention for the cruiser that is a person of size is sometimes the seating in the common area is restrictive, and you're just kind of stuck trying to find a couch somewhere, just a big chair somewhere. Well, again, I'm happy to report the seating is big as the rule. It's not the exception to the rule. Big chairs, big couches, and there's a lot of it on every one of the decks. Lots of common area, fluffy, friendly seating, very accommodating to the person of size. That even spills over into the casino seating. I've seen some casino seats that have little lips or little arms, making it challenging for larger people. Not so on the MSC Seashore. The seats there also very accommodating. Now, there's two more types of seats that often cause problems for the larger cruiser. I'm going to tell you about that, but first, let me invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. I'm going to keep you up to date with the cruise news. I'm going to talk about the cruise ships that I go on. And if you're a person of size, well, this is the spot for you. Let's talk about seating on the balcony. Oftentimes you go on these cruise ships and the balcony seats are very narrow. Again, MSC Seashore kind of breaks the mold here. Of course, we had an extended balcony, so we had two loungers, which were very accommodating, but also the balcony chairs that we had were wider than normal, in my opinion. I was able to sit in the balcony chairs without much, rub on the side, which is an infrequent thing for me. A big thumbs up on the balcony life. And we got to talk about the theater. I love going to the main theater on the cruise ship, but oftentimes for me, it is a painful situation. Most of the time, there's not really great seating for people of size. And I can tell you many times I've come back from the main theater with bruises on my side because I have jammed myself into a very rigid theater seat, and I've suffered through the show just because I love to watch the shows. I was so pleasantly surprised on the MSC Seashore to see that they had larger seats incorporated incorporated in the main seating area of the theater. Sometimes you get larger seats and they're at the back of the theater and you can't see. Not the case on the MSC Seashore. That main theater there had an abundance of larger seats. They had regular size seats. They were all styled and decored the same, so it wasn't super noticeable. So you're able to just go and sit down like a normal person, and it was really nice. It was really nice. We were there for a short time. I saw 2 shows in that theater, and both nights I sat there and went, "Wow, this! I wish it was like this on every cruise ship." A big thumbs up for the theater seating for people of size on the MSC Seashore. Now, as we move beyond the seating, I want to highlight 2 things. First, let's talk about the pool deck experience. Oftentimes, people of size completely ignore the swimming pool on cruise ships because it's a challenge. Sometimes the seating is a challenge, but a lot of times the challenge is getting in and out of the swimming pool. I guess the getting in is not that much of a challenge. You could just fall right into the swimming pool, but the getting out can be a challenge. Many of these cruise ships, the only way that you can exit the swimming pool is to climb that ladder outside of the swimming pool, and that can be a challenge for a larger person. And I think a lot of times people of size just ignore the pool deck, but excitingly, MSC Seashore delivers again in their adults area, which is on deck 8 on the aft of the ship. They have this beautiful infinity pool area where you can look out on the wake of the cruise ship, and it happens to be a 0 entry pool, so you can easily get in and out of that pool. 0 exit, I think, is more the easier thing. Just a gradual exit out of that pool. You don't have to climb a ladder. And so if you're somebody who really likes to have that pool deck experience as part of your cruising experience, and you are a person of size and you feel some trepidation with the normal pools, MSC Seashore has you taken care of when it comes to this aft pool. It's a beautiful place to be, and it's very fluffy friendly. Now let's talk about some of the challenges for the fluffy cruiser on this cruise ship. There's a few instances where you're going to have to wait in line. A lot of times, if you're a person with weight issues, you also have mobility issues, and standing in line is almost kryptonite to the person of size. And so there are a few instances on this cruise ship where lines did gather and where, you had to stand in line, which became a challenge if you're a fluffy cruiser. Of course, the normal ones, embarkation day, disembarkation day, there was a lot of line standing there. And so if you're challenged by line standing or challenged with mobility issues, that could be a problem. And then the muster process on the MSC Seashore, not that fluffy friendly. The muster process worked like this. They would sound an alarm, which would tell you to go to your cabin. Once you were in the cabin, you would watch the safety video, and then after the safety video was finished, you would call a phone number and verify that you watched the safety video. And then you had to wait in your cabin until there was a general call to muster, and then once the general call to muster happened, you had to leave your cabin and go to your muster station to get your card scanned to verify that you went through the muster process. But regardless of the deck that you were on, you were not allowed to use the elevators. I was on deck 9, my muster station was on 7. No big deal for me, but if you are a person of size, you know that sometimes, climbing downstairs can be even more challenging than climbing upstairs. But I couldn't imagine if you were on deck 15, 16, something like that, trying to traverse all of those stairs down. Certainly in a real emergency, you would have to do it. So, I mean, it's a good practice. Now, fortunately, if you don't participate in that muster drill, there is a makeup muster drill the next day. You get checked off and all of that without the stair climbing. But certainly as I went through that muster process, I recognized that there's going to be some people of size that are going to be challenged trying to get that thing done. Now, the next thing I want to mention is probably the bane of every fluffy cruiser's existence. It is the stateroom cabin bathroom. These bathrooms are small. I believe they're small even for people that aren't people of size, and the MSC Seashore, no different than most other cruise lines. It's a bit of a challenge to use the restroom in the cabin. It's a bit of a challenge to take a shower in the cabin, but there are other options on the cruise ship if those bathrooms are just not workable for you. There are public bathrooms on the cruise ship that have larger spaces to use the restroom. And then there's also shower facilities in the gym and in the spa that you can use. But for me, I just did what I could to make it work, but it was a little bit of a challenge. Let me hit you with my final thoughts on this. If I was going to give a score out of 10 for the fluffy friendliness for the MSC Seashore, it's going to be pretty high. It ticked all of the boxes for me. I would recommend this cruise ship to anybody that's a person of size that wants to have comfort on their cruise. This would be a 9 out of 10 for me. Again, I take off a point for the bathroom, but what are you going to do? I mean, it would be perfect if it was like if it was a big bathroom in the cabin, it would be perfect. But so many other things were going right fluffy wise on this cruise. It gets a solid 9 out of 10. And I did an extensive, what are the challenges for heavy people, for fat people, for fluffy cruisers on a cruise ship. This breaks down some of the big challenges. Make sure you check this video out next. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.